Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the show that helps you get well informed fast by digging into the key details from stacks of information. Today, we're really getting into corporate sustainability, how companies are moving beyond just talk. We'll look at global rankings, some new reporting ideas, and, well, actual tech breakthroughs. Yeah, we've got some interesting sources. There's a big Japanese tech firm, NEC, getting global recognition. Then we'll unpack this new framework on social inequality reporting. And finally, how companies like Noritz and Hitachi are innovating with tech and leadership. So our mission today is to figure out what sustainable really means for a company now in 2025. From the big awards down to the tech details and social responsibility. Okay, let's dig in. Right, let's kick things off with that big news about NEC. Global tech company ranked 7th in Time's World's Most Sustainable Companies for 2025. That's the second year running. Now, you mentioned this isn't just about reputation. Time and Statista look at over 5,000 companies. What's really under the hood with their method? What makes it rigorous compared to, say, other rankings?
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah, Time and Statista, they cast a wide net over 30 countries. But the rigor, it comes from using more than 20 specific metrics. It's not just the obvious stuff like revenue. They really dig into ESG commitments, environmental, social, governance, and crucially, they assess the quality of the company's disclosures, not just if they disclose, plus their actual performance data. It's very data heavy.
Okay, data heavy. So with NEC getting this high rank 2 years straight, what specifically do you think they're doing that really, pushes them ahead? Is there one thing that stands out?
Well, it's interesting. They signed the UN Global Compact way back in 2005, which was quite early. But it's more about how they seem to have embedded those principles, human rights, labor, environment, anti-corruption. They talk about minimizing negative impacts, but also creating social value through their actual business, linking it to the SDGs, the UN Sustainable Development Goals,
Creating social value.
through things like safety, security, fairness, efficiency, which ties into their tech focus, right? And their transparency is a big factor. They get high marks from third-party groups like CDP and S&P. It suggests they're genuinely tracking and reporting this stuff, not just, greenwashing. It's baked into their NEC way, their core philosophy.
That makes sense for a giant like NEC. But sustainability isn't just for the huge players, is it? Our sources also mention Noritz, smaller company, different field water heaters, heat solutions, new president, Masayuki Takanaka. How does their approach to sustainability look, especially under new leadership? Is it like a scaled down version of NEC's approach or something different?
It's quite different, actually, more focused. Their mission is creating new happiness, which sounds a bit broad, but their plan, the V Plan 26, gets specific. Carbon neutrality is a key pillar. Unlike NEC's wide scope, Noritz is really zeroing in on reducing CO2 from their specific products, water heaters, and their own operations. Very targeted.
Okay, targeted. So how are they actually doing that? What are the practical steps?
They're leveraging what they know best, residential tech. Developing next-gen water heaters, hybrid models, heat pumps, even looking at hydrogen combustion ones. That's quite forward-thinking.
Hydrogen, wow.
Yeah. And they're not just staying residential, they're pushing into non-residential too, aiming for a solid footing by 2030. And this heat solution business they launched in late 2024 seems quite innovative.
Heat solution business. Tell me more about that.
Basically, they help factories and other industrial sites capture and reuse waste heat. It's a full-service assessment, design, installation, support. Apparently, the response has been way better than expected. Estimates doubled. They're even partnering with local governments, like Akashi City, to help local businesses decarbonize. It's very hands-on, practical sustainability.
That's interesting. And I remember reading something about their internal culture, too, something about challenges and conferences. How does that connect?
Ah, right. Their culture seems built on this idea. Everything starts with a challenge, pushing employees to grow, and they have this Wacasu conference.
Wacasu conference.
Yeah, it sounds like a forum for employees to align their own goals with the company's vision, sort of fostering personal growth within the company's sustainability push, linking individual well-being to the bigger picture. And the new president's personal motto, Shindaku, this idea of self-discipline even when nobody's watching. It kind of reflects that internal commitment, doesn't it? It suggests integrity is core to their approach.
Okay, so we have the big strategies, the focused approaches, but let's talk tech. How are companies actually engineering the solutions? Hitachi's work on fuel cells caught my eye. What's the breakthrough there?
Right, Hitachi. On July 10th, they announced a pretty significant development with solid oxide fuel cells, SOFCs. They figured out how to get high output and reliability, but at much lower operating temperatures.
Lower temperatures. Why is that such a big deal? What were the old ones like?
Well, Traditional SOFCs needed to run incredibly hot, like 700 degrees Celsius. Think about that super high heat.
Okay.
That meant they took ages to start up, needed massive insulation, which made them bulky and expensive, and you couldn't just put them anywhere. Really limited their use.
Got it. So lowering the temperature is key. But usually doing that hurts performance or reliability, doesn't it? How did Hitachi crack that? What was their, secret sauce?
Exactly. That's the trade-off. Lower temp often means thinning the electrolyte layer inside the fuel cell, and that makes it less reliable, more prone to failure. Hitachi apparently drew on their expertise from making semiconductors, the precision involved in chip manufacturing.
Ah, okay. Applying chip tech to fuel cells.
Sort of. They developed two key things. First, cell division and management. They basically test and manage tiny segments of the fuel cell individually. It allows them to find and manage potential defects very early, kind of like quality control for chips, maintaining reliability even with a thinner layer, better manufacturing yield too. Second, electrolyte layer uniformity. Using advanced techniques, likely borrowed from semiconductor processes, they made sure that thin layer was perfectly even. Unevenness causes leakage, kills efficiency.
Okay, so semiconductor precision applied to fuel cells. That's clever. What are the actual results? How low did they get the temperature, and what does that mean practically?
They got it down to 519 degrees Celsius. Still hot, but way lower than 700. And crucially, they maintained a high power density over 1 watt per square centimeter. That's impressive performance.
And the practical benefits. You mentioned easier installation.
Yeah, lots of benefits. Better reliability, a longer lifespan, much faster startup times. It's huge. Less insulation needed, so smaller, lighter systems, lower costs overall. It just makes SOFCs way more viable for installation in places they couldn't go before.
Like where? What kind of applications are we talking about?
Oh, potentially loads. Factories generating their own power on-site. Reliable backup power during disasters, that's critical. Distributed power for industrial parks. Maybe even portable power sources down the line. Hitachi's aiming to push the temperature down further and boost output. They're planning to work with partners to get this commercialized. It really could be a significant enabler for decarbonization, making clean power more accessible.
Okay, fascinating tech. But sustainability isn't just about tech and environment, right? The NESG, the social side, is getting a lot more attention. Our sources mentioned a new initiative, the Taskforce on Inequality and Social-Related Financial Disclosures, or TSFD. Why is this happening now? What's the driving force?
That's a really important question. Why focus so intensely on social inequality now? Well, the Daiwa Institute of Research report we looked at highlights that TSFD was set up just last September 2024. The goal is a framework for companies and finance institutions to report on risks and opportunities linked to social inequality. And the backdrop is, well, pretty stark.
Stark.
You have this massive gap. The richest 10% globally earning over half the income, while billions face a cost of living crisis made worse by climate change. This level of inequality isn't just a moral issue. It's seen as a growing threat to business stability, to economic systems.
A threat to business stability. How so?
Think about supply chain disruptions, workforce issues, market instability, reputational damage. Inequality breeds instability. So there's an urgent need for a standardized way to understand and manage these risks. TSFD aims to deliver that framework by late 2026.
So TSFD isn't just narrowly focused on, say, human rights reporting. It's broader.
Exactly. It uses the term people's conditions. It's looking comprehensively at how inequality and business interact, including links to nature and climate. The core idea is helping organizations manage impacts, dependencies, risks, and opportunities. Idea arose related to people. And it's not just about individual company risk, but also managing system-level risks that affect everyone. It recognizes that a company's health is tied to the health of the society it operates in.
Okay, idea arose. Let's break that down. What are the key concepts TSFD wants companies to grapple with?
They focus on 4 main concepts. First is well-being. This is broad, covers everything from material conditions like income and housing to quality of life, things like health, safety, social connections, work-life balance, and crucially, they stress these are interconnected. A company's action affecting one aspect, like wages, ripples through an employee's health, their family, the community.
Okay, well-being. What else? Second, human rights. This is framed as the absolute baseline, the minimum standard for a dignified life. You can't really talk about well-being if basic human rights aren't respected. Companies need to ensure they're not infringing on rights anywhere in their value chain.
Right, the foundation. And the other two, you mentioned a capital approach.
Yes, third is human capital. That's the knowledge, skills, health, within individuals that help create well-being. Respecting human rights builds human capital. And fourth is social capital. This is about shared norms, values, trust, relationships that enable cooperation. Think supplier relationships, customer trust, market integrity. Trust is key. And again, violating human rights erodes that social capital, that trust.
Wow, that is incredibly comprehensive. Well-being, human rights, human capital, social capital. How on earth are companies supposed to report on all this? Especially given, different companies focus on different things in their current reports.
That's a major challenge, and TSFD seems aware of it. Their proposal suggests flexibility in the reporting approach, specifically around materiality.
Materiality, meaning what's important. It's exactly. Should a company report on inequality issues that affect its financial performance, that's financial materiality, or should it report on its impact on society, impact materiality, or both, double materiality? TSFD proposes letting users choose because different stakeholders care about different things. Investors might focus on financial risk while NGOs focus on societal impact. The goal is flexibility, but also interoperability, making sure it aligns with existing standards like ISSB for finance and GRI or ESRS for impact reporting.
Okay, flexibility and interoperability sound good. So finally, what does this push, especially the focus on S, mean for companies, maybe particularly in places like Japan, where historically the E&G might have gotten more airtime?
That's a key takeaway. Yes, historically, some observers felt Japanese companies, while strong on E and G, maybe lagged a bit on the S, the social dimension. TSFD is a pretty clear signal that the global expectation is shifting. It's putting social issues, inequality, human rights squarely on the corporate agenda worldwide. For Japanese companies, it means a likely need to deepen their understanding and actions on this front. It's not just compliance. It's about really understanding these concepts, well-being, human rights, human and social capital, and integrating them into strategy to navigate these new expectations and, frankly, remain competitive globally.
What a deep dive indeed. We went from NEC's global sustainability ranking to Noritz's focused decarbonization and unique culture, then Hitachi's really cool low-temp fuel cell tech, and finished with this look at the TSD framework, pushing companies to really engage with social inequality. It's complex stuff.
It really is.
It seems clear sustainability is way past being just a buzzword now. It's genuinely driving innovation, like with Hitachi. It's changing corporate strategy, like at Noritz. And it's setting new global standards for reporting, like TSFD. We seem to be heading towards a point where a company's value is deeply linked to its total impact on people, on the planet, not just its bottom line.
That definitely seems to be the direction of travel.
So thinking about all this, here's something for you, our listeners, to consider. How might these shifts, the new standards, the tech advancements, change how you look at the companies you buy from or interact with? And what kind of sustainable future are you hoping we can build? Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Hope you feel better informed, maybe even a bit inspired. We'll catch you next time.